Good morning and welcome to Export Opportunities in the Mexican Aerospace Industry. This webinar is provided to you by Global New York with support from FuseHub and Namtrans. I'm your host, Steve Melita. Today, you'll hear from expert presenters about opportunities in the fast-growing Mexican aerospace industry. You'll also learn how New York State can help your company to seize these opportunities. Before we begin, an important housekeeping note. The virtual platform that we're using, Remo, may be new to you. If you have any issues, please see Kim Lloyd at the FuseHub table, or you can also click the chat button in the bottom middle of your screen for help. Also, if there's an interruption in your broadcast, don't panic, just log out and log back in. Now let's get down to business. The mission of Global New York, our event sponsor, is to help New York companies like yours enter or expand their presence in the global marketplace. Global New York programs connect companies with sales and agents and distributors abroad in places like Mexico. And today you'll learn about programs that can help you to offset the costs of exporting. Global New York's partners for this event, FuseHub and Namtrans, are also here to help you succeed. FuseHub, with support from Empire State Development and NYSTAR, is the statewide New York State Manufacturing Extension Partnership Center. Namtrans is the North American Center of Excellence for Transportation Equipment and a strategic subsidiary to the North Country Chamber of Commerce. Folks, what we have today is a truly North American event, so here's more about what to expect. First, you'll hear from Global New York's Catherine Bamberger. Catherine's office is in Albany, and she'll give you the big picture about programs that can help you to start or increase exporting. Next, you'll hear from Efren Flores, the New York State representative for Global New York in Mexico. Efren is based in Querétaro and has boots on the ground across the entire country. You'll also hear from Luis Lascano, the executive director of the Mexican Federation of Aerospace Industry, or FEMIA. This is a trade group that's going places. In addition to Luis, he'll be joined by Enrique Maldonado, a supply chain expert. So without further ado, let's hear from our first presenter, Catherine Bamberger from Global New York. Catherine.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everyone. Bienvenidos. My name is Catherine. As Steve said, I'm actually in Troy, New York, in the Capital Region, regional office. We have 10 regions across the state, and I'm just going to share my screen, ideally. Okay. Empire State Development, as Steve said, is New York State's economic development agency. And on the Global New York team, we are a 400 and something year old trade state. And so we're one of the top 3 trade states in the country. And we are specifically charged with helping small businesses market and sell their products and services outside of the United States. We also work to attract foreign businesses who would like to set up an operation here in the state of New York. As we mentioned, we're a top export state, and it's by dollar value. And so some of our top industry exports, such as precious stones and metals and industrial machinery, arts and antiquities, put us over the top because of their dollar value. Our top export partners, of course, Canada, our nearest neighbor to the north, and Mexico. We send a lot of products back and forth across both borders, and we really feel that by having a regional approach to manufacturing and production and supply chain, we'll be able to compete with other regions such as Asia and Europe. We have offices around the world in these markets specifically: South America, Mexico, Canada, Europe, Israel, India, China, and Africa. We also have a new office in the Caribbean, and we offer 3 different programs to help companies access markets. Export Marketing Assistance Program is where our in-market reps in those locations that I just showed you will provide free market information and trade lead or partner lead searches. And where we do not have representation directly in those markets, we use our partners at embassies around the world through the U.S. Commercial Service, and they are able to provide very similar kinds of market research for you. The State Trade Expansion Program is funded through the Small Business Administration, and that offers grants to help through our agency to help companies support the marketing activities, promotional activities, and regulatory activities that make it possible to export to a foreign market. And finally, the Global New York Fund program, which is funded by the state of New York and taxpayer dollars. So there is a little bit of a paperwork process that we go through in order to be able to access those funds. But those funds can be combined for multiple activities in a single application. We have a number of activities that are coming up for this market. In addition to today's webinar, we have a webinar on the USMCA, which is the revision of the North American Free Trade Agreement, and it has some changes to, for example, country of origin requirements and other things. And so we'll be working with our partners, Mohawk Global and our Mexico office, in order to be able to clarify for you some of the changes that have happened. Also, through our partners in FuseHub and Aeromart Montreal, there is an industry event, matchmaking sessions and displays, exhibitions that will be taking place in Montreal in early April. We have a trade mission to Mexico, focusing not only on this industry, but also manufacturing of other sorts, that will be led by our in-market representative, Efren Flores Rangel, and that will be April 23rd. And then the Paris Air Show is offering a combined exhibition through our partners at the State International Directors Organization, SIDO. The Export Marketing Assistance Service, as I mentioned, is no cost for eligible companies, which means you must be a small business and at least 51% of your product or service must be created within the state of New York, or if you can demonstrate that at least a part of your line does that, then we can offer this service for the portion of products that meet that criteria. You can choose up to 2 markets over a 12-month period, and typically our eligible businesses have 500 or fewer employees. The Global New York Grant Fund, again, is a separate fund, and we have eligibility for both for-profit companies and nonprofit organizations. So industry trade groups, chambers of commerce, other international development organizations, World Trade Centers, et cetera, are also eligible for this fund with slightly different criteria. Again, marketing activities, educational activities, and product adaptations to make products eligible for foreign markets are all part of our Global New York Fund eligible activities. We also have a Global New York team that's located in regions around the state. You can see down the left-hand column, those are all of our upstate and Long Island representatives that are located in regional offices, and then our New York City office. And we have our Corinne Rising, who is primarily focused on those attracting foreign businesses. So if you do have a foreign partner that's interested in locating in New York, she would be the contact for that. Otherwise, our representatives are organized by region and by county. Stop sharing. With that, I'm going to invite Efren Flores Rangel, who is Global New York's Mexico representative. Efren, if you're able to join us, you can turn on your camera and your mic and come to the stage.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Catherine. Welcome everyone, and it's a great pleasure to be here to give you some insights about Mexico. And I will leave the guys from FRAMIA, the Mexican Aerospace Federation, to give you some more information about aerospace. But I just want to talk about a little bit about Mexico, and I'm going to share my presentation. We're going to go very fast of what Mexico is and some things that the office does for you. And I think it's going to be a good source of information and services that the New York State Office Mexico can provide. We will start just telling you about the population of Mexico. Very simple, 130 million. Back in the census of 3 years ago, we're the 50th largest economy in the world, the second largest in Latin America. We have 32 states. We have a growth of 1.8% in 2021, and then back in 2022, we have a nice considerable growth because the rebound of COVID-19. Now, Mexico, as you know, already is very diversified, and especially now with new sectors such as aerospace, automotive, agribusiness, metal mechanic, financial services, medical devices, and so on. So, Mexico passed from the very elementary of agriculture and oil uh, to more sophisticated uh, market. And Mexico's open to the world, so we see a lot of now companies from Europe, of course, the United States and Asia, trying to do some business with Mexicans. So now it is a mature market, I will say. It's not what we used to be before NAFTA or before USMCA. So you have to be more um, prepared to go into the Mexican market. Of course, we are here to help you to identify those opportunities. Now, I can give you some insights of what is imported and exported. As you see, the jewel of the crown of Mexico is the auto sector, and that's why there was a lot of changes in USMCA, and you can learn more about it for the next webinar for February 15. So, but this will give you an idea of how it's the products that we're importing and exporting. As you see, cars, vehicle parts, commodities. Oil has reduced considerably. Of course, now we're trying to import. We almost import more gasoline. 60% of the gas in Mexico is imported from the United States. We ship crude oil and we get gasoline and so on. But electronics is also a nice sector that we export. We're number one manufacturer of the world for flat screens and electronics, medical devices, and so on. Oh, oh. Now we go to the exports and so on and what we export: computer, electronic products, auto parts, and especially in the U.S. export to Mexico and other selected countries. Back in 2020, we the combination and what we import from the United States, it's a big, we're in a part of number two, sometimes number one partner with the U.S. We have a lot of products going back and forth from in Mexico and the U.S. And probably if you have the chance to be at the U.S. Mexican border, you will see trucks and trucks and trucks coming in and out because some part in the aerospace industry has a border 3 or 4 more times. So and now we go for the best prospect for U.S. exporters. Of course, if you don't see those your product on the list, that doesn't matter. You won't be successful in the Mexican market. That's why we are here. But I just want to touch a few things that we see in demand for the Mexican market. Of course, automotive, building supplies, information technology, packaging equipment, tools and dies for any manufacturing, even for manufacturing 4.0. That's another thing that you should consider because things are changing. More companies are establishing operations in Mexico, and they to and also to make better their manufacturing procedures. As I mentioned in the past, we're here to help, especially to identify the opportunities for you to find clients. What I mean clients is distributors, representatives, end users, and give you some and especially in the auto industry, sometimes that part for the aerospace, and from Premier they will give you some more details how the market is and the requirements and so on. So, but it is important for you to know what are the requirements. You know what to expect for them from the Mexican side. It's not that we just cross the borderlines between two U.S. states. Now we're crossing international borders with different um, uh, set, rules, and needs. So you need to be aware of that, and that's why we're here. So uh, more I will describe you more what the services that we can provide right here. Export counseling, simple market research, market entry strategy. Uh, the main core is to qualify representative distributors and end users. We work pretty close with companies to know who they are, if they're capable of handling your product or service. We do some kind of a small financial check, but we're focused on the size of the company. We focus on the reach in the market. And what I mean qualified is we make sure there's a real interest for your product and company. Okay, the B2B, as I mentioned, it's another part, and it's very important. We follow the same rules about the qualification process. And as part of this, we'll have a trade mission in April, help to identify and to arrange B2B meetings with qualified companies in Mexico. We're going to stop at different cities. Every single agenda is customized. So, and I think it's a good option for you to consider this if you want to start thinking about the Mexican market. So then I'm gonna go to, oops. I'm just gonna change my screen here. Well, I just want to talk a little bit about the key points of how to be successful in the Mexican market. Of course, it's easy to find a middle person, to as a distributor representative, because they know the market, know the language, they know how to sell to Mexicans. But I just want to let you know, Mexicans are pretty friendly to doing business with Americans. We're very familiar, years and years we have done business with U.S. companies and the same U.S. companies with Mexicans. So I think the bottom line and the Mexicans want to know each other. They want to know you first before doing some business. So just be. It's also a rule because they don't take the decisions right away. They want to explore. They want to see what you can offer, and if everything goes well, they will be really loyal to you. Because if you make uh, their business grow, very close friends and also a business partner. And this is some information about the mission that we're going to have in April from 23 to 27. We're bringing. If you're interested, you can talk to Catherine or you can even email me or call me to give you some more details. Catherine can give you some more about this trade mission. And now we're trying to get at the same time. It's a FAMEX trade show, the aerospace trade show. Who Enrique and Luis will give you some more details about it, and I think it's a nice complement. If you're not in the aerospace and you're in different sectors, doesn't matter. We can also help you that particular week. And as I mentioned, it's every single agenda is going to be customized. This is my contact information. Scan the QR. But I think the main point of contact will be Catherine for this purpose. And I'm going to be around in the table of Global New York. If you need some, you have any questions or doubts, please let me know, and we can talk about your products. Or if you have any difficulties at this moment to enter the Mexican market somehow, we will try to solve it and give you some information. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And now I will leave Luis Liscano, who's General Director of FEMIA, who's going to talk about aerospace industry in Mexico, the necessities, and also about FAMEX. Thank you so much, Luis, for joining us again. I will pass.
Thank you, Efrain. Thank you. It's certainly, I hope you can hear me okay. And I'm gonna try to share a presentation that I have here. Let me see if I can, right here. Okay, I don't know if you can see my presentation right now. You know, basically, I'm gonna, as a friend just told, we're gonna share Mexico's aerospace industry outlook and also information about the Mexico FAMEX that's gonna be held in Mexico, okay, in April 2023, okay. First of all, about FEMIA, you know, for those in the aerospace industry in the United States, you know, we're very similar to the Aerospace Industries Association of the United States. As a matter of fact, we have extensive work together. We are a private nonprofit association with 15 years of existence, a membership of a little over 120 members in 14 states of Mexico. And our members are accounted for more than 80% of Mexico's aerospace industry exports. We have a nationwide scope, and of course, you know, we collaborate both within Mexico and outside Mexico with different organizations. You can see our membership there. You know, I won't be entering into details. You may recognize some of the logos there. The ones that you may not recognize are equally as important because you know they form the aerospace industry ecosystem of Mexico. We have different work groups in which we actually focus on different areas of activity. For example, we have competitiveness groups that continues to analyze the best practices of the industry. A promotion, we actually handles all events like FAMEX and Paris Air Show and so on, you know, and Mexico's participation in those shows as well. Human talent formation, which is key for sector. A technical commission, which actually supports our aeronautics authorities mainly. The Supply Chain Development Commission, which is very important for us, you know, as we recognize that this is very important to consolidate a strong supply chain in North America. For the sector is vital. And institutional relations, MRO, and a Space Commission as well. Let me tell you some information about Mexico's aerospace industry, but you know, we need to put things into perspective. First, pre-COVID, you know, Mexico was a relatively new industry sector. You know, we started looking at this as an industrial trend around the year 2000, the turn of the century. And since then, you know, we have been getting, prior to the pandemics, an average annual growth of around 14%, mainly in civil and commercial aeronautics. We have somewhere around 368 plants, mainly in manufacturing, you know, more than 80%, but also with some activity in MRO and engineering and design, with exports nearly to $10 billion. And, you know, we managed to set up an exporting, a manufacturing platform in very, you know, in just a few years, in less than 10 years. We have somewhere around 60,000 direct jobs And at that time, we were ranked about number 12 in exports in aerospace within the world. This is the geographic distribution of that. It's no wonder that all the main regions for aerospace are in along the border, the U.S.-Mexico border, but also there's a big hub, a big aerospace hub around the state of Querétaro, and the Bajío region, which also is developing very, very, very good. Okay, this is imports and exports, 14.3% in 15 years from 2004 to 2019. You can see the growth. The graphic explains itself. But what happens after that? After that, in 2020, we have a drop of nearly 32%, which was, interestingly enough, less than what it was in the global industry, which was between 35 and 40%, depending on the program. So, we managed to go to the pandemics with only 32%. And this is a graph showing what was happening in Mexico. This is our exports, aerospace exports, okay? And this is monthly. We can see 2019, we have a record year of $9.6 billion with a growth of that year versus previous year of 12.4, which was very good. Then we have the pandemics. The first 3 months, companies started to try to build inventory and everything, and then we got the global shutdown, and it was a complete mess. So we have 31.8% drop versus 2019. In 2021, what happened is that we have a marginal recovery because we were actually immersed in the pandemics. Actually, 2021 was a very tough year because we continue with the pandemics, and we have just a marginal recovery. In 2022, because we started to have recovery. We expect to have between a 19. We still have to have official data for the last 2 months of 2022, but we estimate that we're going to be around the 8 billion mark, which represents somewhere around 19%. So we're in full recovery in this. We're going to show the same graph: 32% drop, then 2% marginal recovery, 19%, and this is our outlook for 2023, 2024, and 2025. Basically, what we're going to have is that we are going to go back to the double-digit growth, and we will be having the levels of the pre-pandemic levels. Either this year, we're very optimistic that we can actually get those levels this year in 2023, and if not, for sure, we're going to get 2024. Reaching the 12 billion mark in 2025. So from exporting 1.3 billion in 2004, just 20 years ahead, we're going to be exporting 12 billion. So it's 10 times or almost 11 times that. So now, one of the key factors for us is FAMEX. FAMEX is being organized by the Mexican military, Ministry of Defense, through the Air Force. And I'm going to try to see if I can share with you a video. It's a 2-minute video. It's very, very brief. Let me see if I can do that right away. Let me see. This should be it. All right. Mexico's Aerospace Fair, FAMEX, is a trade event for the aerospace, cybersecurity, and defense industries organized by Mexico's Ministry of Defense, SEDENA, through the Mexican Air Force. FAMEX
is a collaboration between the three levels of government, public and private organizations, as well as education institutions. FAMEX is the right business forum for product, service, and technological exchange, promotes foreign direct investment, job generation, and human talent development, supporting the growth of Mexico's aerospace industry that in 2019 had an export revenue of more than 9.6 billion US dollars. FAMEX has positioned itself as the most important trade event in Latin America with a participation of 635 exhibitors. 47 countries were presented, 5,800 B2B meetings, 62 aircraft in static exhibition, and more than 98,000 specialized visitors. In the 2023 edition of FAMEX, we will have France as the special guest country, which is the second largest global exporter in the aeronautics industry. This will promote new business to boost Mexico's economy and generate new jobs. FAMEX helps consolidate Mexico as the best place to do business in the aerospace, cybersecurity, and defense industries thanks to its highly specialized workforce and its strategic geographic location. FAMEX 2023 will take place in the Mexican Air Force Base number 1, located in Santa Lucia, very close to Mexico City, on April 26 to 29, 2023. We look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the presentation so I can show you some details on that. Okay, the Mexico's Aerospace Fair FAMEX is a commercial trade show for civil and military aviation and aeronautics industry, as well as defense, security, and space. Organized by SEDENA, by the Ministry of Defense of Mexico, to the Mexican Air Force, in which we collaborate very actively with the Mexican military, and not only us, but not only the private sector or the industry sector, but also universities, academia, and basically all the business community in Mexico has participation in this. This is an overview of the military air base. This is a newly, completely remodeled Air Force base. It has 2 kilometers of platform for static exhibition, 6 exhibition pavilions. So this is, I would say one of the best venues, and I've been in some of the most important air shows and air fairs, trade shows of the aerospace industry in the world. This is definitely one of the best venues in the world for having an event like this. Okay, and there's gonna be different government officials. The president of Mexico will be on the first day in the opening of the ceremony of this, but we're going to have ambassadors. We're going to have 43 commanders of Air Force of America, Europe, and Asia, governors of states in Mexico. So this is a big way to show how Mexico aerospace industry is developing and is participating along the world. As far as the U.S. participation, we are considered a significant event by the U.S. Commerce Chamber and the Department of Defense, the DoD. Of course, Mr. Ken Salazar, Ambassador of the United States in Mexico, will be at FAMEX as well. And the defense participation is already confirmed. It is going to be the Defense Security Cooperation Agency and Air Force, and also the U.S. NORCOM, the U.S. SOUTHCOM, and Space Force also are invited and are interested in participating in this. The United States Air Force will participate with F-16 and CH-47 demonstration teams, as well as the Wings of Blue parachute team. We're gonna have 6 pavilions. Actually, you can see in the layout, in the general layout on top of it, the green one, from A to F. So basically, we have below that the pavilions are basically defense and security, the Mexico pavilion, the France and Europe pavilion, the United States and the Americas continent pavilion, space and education and talent formation pavilion. As far as the pavilion which is the Pavilion D, we have a big auditorium and we have some companies already there confirmed. And of course, this is the US area where we have some confirmations. We're going to have a meeting point where we're going to have some meeting rooms and everything for private meetings of the participants of the US pavilion. In this edition, FEMIA is actually in charge of organizing the whole place for the U.S. pavilion, and this space in green, D118, is the DoD space that is already confirmed. It's just recently confirmed, so that they will be there. And we have space available in case you are interested in attending this. We are offering a 9 square meter booth, a turnkey stand, with a cost of $650 per square meter. That includes everything, basically, a backlight, fascia, lighting, spotlights, printed walls, a TV for show promotional videos and presentations, lockable reception counter, racks for promotional literature, furniture, table plus chairs, carpet, cleaning service, access to the meeting point, and additional service, U.S. commercial service in B2Bs within the U.S. pavilion and the FAMEX. And this is that was a 9 square meter, and this is an 18 square meter configuration, that is also a double. As you see, it's more space and more I would say furniture arranged. Of course, companies will provide with art, and we will have the art printed. So basically, it's just ready to use space just to come and start doing business in Mexico. Basically, that's an overview of the meeting point. The 3 meeting rooms with the block of more reservations, with TVs included, networking area, coffee breaks and snacks offered there, and it's a very well set up. It's another perspective of a render of the meeting rooms, of the meeting point. And in case you're interested, you can contact Monica Vega, which I understand is on this webinar. But you can actually contact Monica to this phone number and email, or if you prefer, to contact directly the Pavilion D team leader, which is Lieutenant Eduardo Arellano, and also he's taking care of from the Sedena team and FAMEX team with that, and those are his contact information. But we will be happy to help you. We're working as a team, and to provide the best business experience for you and your company. And basically, that's all that I have to share. And I hope that you have some interest, and we're ready to help you in any way possible.
Enrique, thank you so much for that. That was fantastic information. And thanks to all of our presenters. And so this concludes the presentation part of our program, which means it's time to begin our networking session. And since we're not having a formal Q&A, this is your chance to ask questions. When we get back into the mode where you can see the entire floor plan, you'll notice that the tables along the sides of the room are labeled. So look for the table that belongs to the organization or individual you'd like to meet with. In some cases, there may be multiple tables for the same organization. Now you'll find a table for each of our presenters and also for a few other folks I'd like to recognize. Alejandro Ramos is the Senior VP for the U.S. Chamber Operation, Executive Director for the Northeast Chapter for the United States Mexico Chamber of Commerce. And there's a table with a much shorter name than what I just told you. Joel Wood, the VP of Strategic Initiatives and Director of NamTrans is here. Say hello to Joel. And last but certainly not least, Everton H. Henriquez, the New York MEP Solutions Director for FuSub is with us. So with that, without further ado, let's go into the networking session and make the most of the time that's left.